So I want to know up front, what did you have more of a negative reaction to in this movie? The involvement of Kevin Spacey, or the fact that Superman and Clark Kent both show up after 5 years away and nobody in Metropolis finds that the least bit coincidental?
Oh, the second one by a
What
hot mile.
the fuck?
It's actually in my notes for enjoyability.
How does no one put this together?
I know this is a running stick for Superman. Like, the only way it works is if he can go change in the phone booth and nobody knows.
Or elevator in this case.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was
We
interesting.
don't have phone booths anymore.
I
Come
know,
on, man.
I know. But it pissed me off so badly. And the fact that they even hint at it in the movie, like some of the characters even mention and talk about
James
it.
Marsden makes tell's Clark, and they laugh it off.
I just called him Cyclops the entire movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just called him handsome James Marsden.
He is handsome.
Yeah, the ladies love him.
He's an interesting character in this. I think he's the one character that I'm like, this is
That's your guy?
Well, like, what a good dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the ultimate good dude, for sure.
Well, we're going to talk about that as we get into this, too.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Welcome to Bad Movies and Beer. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And today, by special request, we are covering Superman Returns.
He's back. Superman. This is the second one. Superman is returning to our podcast.
That's right. We actually did a Superman 4 not that long ago. Like, it was our second last episode of last season or something. So pretty recent, at least in terms of like episode number.
Yeah, not
we're getting
too
in the
long.
weeds here.
Yeah. We don't have to go too deep on that. But our friend Mark helped us out with this one. Who helped by asking us for this request?
So this was a request from one of our followers on Instagram, Cinematic Time with Jason.
Oh,
so I'm assuming his name is Jason.
And he likes watching movies.
He does, and he has a little podcast of his own. Recently covered The Shadow with Alec Baldwin.
Oh, cool.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows. Yeah, man.
I'm going to have to take a listen. Thanks, Jason, for the request. That's awesome.
Definitely. Well, let's pump the brakes here. I don't know if I'd say awesome. I appreciate the request, but let's be honest here. Superman Returns. We did not see Superman again. Superman did not return again for a while after this one.
What I was really confused about was there's been so many remakes of Superman, and this is sort of one in between. This came out in early 2000s, mid 2000s?
Yeah, 2006 or 4 or something.
Is this the second one with this actor in it?
No. This is a one-shot deal for this guy. They pulled him out of obscurity, and he did this movie and he went right back into obscurity.
It's interesting because he looks the part. He is the perfect picture of a Superman.
Minus the fake blue eyes that are clearly fake.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't realize. So not clearly to me. Is he got
the contacts in?
They're
ridiculously blue.
They are ridiculously blue,
yes.
But I didn't even think about it. But wow, okay. Interesting. I thought this was number 2. Just based on the story and what it was, I figured this was the second one he had been in. But
nope, one and only. And sadly, no Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Although the disembodied voice of Marlon Brando was a welcome addition to me.
Oh, was he?
He's Superman's father in the originals.
Yeah.
Jor-El.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, cool.
Well, we are going to get into all these details, good, bad, and regrettable. But first, as always, we have paired the movie up with a beer. What are we drinking today, Noel?
We are drinking a beer, and this one is a pretty sweet connection. It is called Kryptonite 7.0.
7%.
Yeah.
Strong lager.
It's a smooth lager.
Smooth lager.
It says. The can is hilarious. This is from the Flying Monkey Craft Brewery. They're out of Barrie, Ontario. They've been around for quite a long time.
We did one of their beers in season 1, I believe, for Maximum Overdrive, right?
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. They are known for making a bit out there beers, like ones that sort of push the envelope of flavor and taste. Like, they are happy to kick you right in the with the flavor of their beers.
We don't need more talk after our last episode. Let's try and keep this one.
They
clean.
have one that's really accessible and I quite like called the Juicy Ass.
What did I just say?
Yeah, I know.
No, that's fine.
But they always have really cool can art. I'm a little worried about this. This can has this giant crystals of kryptonite coming out.
Yeah, that's a great connection.
Really good connection with our movie here. And it's got a skeleton chugging a beer that has like a radioactive symbol on it. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect here, but I know that it's going to be a journey, and that's going to be the fun part.
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. We open with some text telling us that on the doomed planet Krypton, a wise scientist placed his infant son in a spacecraft and launched him to Earth. Raised by a kind farmer and his wife, that boy grew up to become our greatest protector, Superman. But when astronomers discovered the distant remains of his homeworld, Superman disappeared. But no mention of his heroic work dismantling all those missiles or fighting Nuclear Man? Just glossing over that part?
I don't know. And I didn't realize this was connected to the fourth one.
It may not be. I don't know.
The fact that we're already complaining so much about the spot that we're starting at and the fact that it feels like I'm missing out on the story before, even though I know the Superman story quite well, probably says a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? As I'm thinking now, because the next thing we get is some of Marlon Brando's Jor-El dialogue, it must be connected. Because why else would you use Marlon Brando?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we get that dialogue from the original film before we see a giant ball of flame contract into a tiny black sphere, and that same sphere bursts outwards in a brilliant explosion. That'll launch us literally into the opening credits, which include the classic John Williams theme song, the familiar names flying towards the screen font, and a big Superman logo. We soar past more planets, comets, and other assorted space phenomena before finally arriving back on Earth. And now that we've made this incredible journey through the cosmos, you're probably wondering what incredible place we're going to visit next. It's some old bag's bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Old bag. That's kind of harsh. I guess not. She is on death's door, isn't she?
Yeah.
You're right. We open here with a lady on her deathbed. Doesn't look like she has long to live. She's got all these machines hooked up to her, and she's got a younger man there, a blonde man, it appears, who's there, and she tells him that he's the one who showed her passion she didn't realize it existed before.
Yeah, that was a little creepy.
This is a bit of a trap here. We've got someone going after the money of a dying old woman.
Yeah, and we also have her family outside this locked bedroom banging on the door, begging her not to sign her fortune over to this mystery man, who we learn reached out to her from prison, promising to take care of her. She'd help him get out. And I say mystery man, but immediately after signing over her vast fortune to him, she looks up and says with her dying breath,
I love you, Lex Luthor.
Which will definitely inspire dread in anyone who's familiar with the name. But personally, I was much more haunted by those pleasures she's never known that you mentioned. I don't know, man. Lex Luthor's banging this old broad?
Yeah, I mean, he was getting to get ahead. That's the old strategy.
Come on.
Sure.
We're trying to avoid this stuff.
You said, though, that she signed it over to him. She, in fact, dies before she's able to sign the will, and he uses her cold, dead hand to sign it himself.
I thought she got it off. It was close. It was right.
It was close. She was going to do it. The pleasures that he showed her were enough that she was willing to give him this mansion and yacht and all of this fortune.
Mega yacht. It's not a yacht. It is a mega yacht.
It is massive. And I was like, I guess for Lex Luthor, this is an explanation of how he gets out of jail and gets rich. But a little bit cheesy and easy here.
Easy? I don't feel like it's easy to fucking get up for some 80-year-old. But whatever.
So you're giving Lex Luthor a bunch of credit here. Coop says, good on you, Lex.
No.
Way to get your boner inside that older lady's vagina. How many times did he have to please her for him to get hundreds of millions of dollars?
Now, that's a great question,
right?
Isn't it? She's a different generation. She wouldn't be expecting it every day. Or would she? I don't know. When you're older, you're like, time's running out. Got to get it in while I can, literally.
I'm sure it was worth his time.
Oh, clearly because of what he gets. And so Lex Luthor confidently walks out of his now dead wife's mansion, having gained a fortune, ditched his toupee, and picked up his assistant Kitty, who was posing as a maid. From there, we cut to an old farmhouse in Smallville, USA, where Martha Kent is washing dishes. Her dog perks up just before the house starts shaking, and we see a huge piece of smoldering rubble come crashing down out of the sky. Martha gets in her pickup truck and drives out to investigate, only to discover that in addition to what looks like a giant hunk of planet sticking out of her cornfield, her alien son Clark, aka Superman, has returned. And I swear to God, even though he doesn't say a word, just the look on his face and the way he collapses into her arms, I'm like, this dude's a terrible actor.
You had him judged from the jump, huh?
Dude,
it was over immediately.
Bad facial expression, comical, overselling.
So the interesting part to me was, I, for a second, was wondering whether this was straight origin story. Like, we were going to see a baby here. I knew that wasn't possible because of how old Martha was. But why the fuck does he come crashing down on the farm again? Why roll that back?
Because he's home. He's coming home.
But why doesn't he just land?
Because he's tired from his space journey. And
why did he bring that
Krypton.
giant chunk of meteorite with him. He nearly blew up the fucking farmhouse.
Okay, I was actually thinking about this because he derives his power from the Earth's sun.
Yes.
So if he flies far enough away in space, does he start losing his power?
I assume you can pull that energy from any
star.
Okay,
that
would be my thought. But I was just really confused why he crashed down in a meteorite again, like the ship crashed to Earth. Like
he did cause a lot of damage.
They're just rolling it back. Like he could have just fucking flew and landed.
But he's clearly exhausted. This journey has taken something out of him. It has. Like he collapses into the old.
That's fair. A lot of plausibility for me. That's what's been taken out already.
Well, they're just buckle up because there's more of that coming.
Yeah.
Brandon Routh's attempts to emote aren't the only stormy waters we get here, as Lex Luthor, now aboard his dead wife's mega yacht, is headed to the Arctic to do what Prometheus did.
So we're stilling fire in the Arctic.
Actually, sort of.
Sounds great, Lex. But you're not a god.
Gods are selfish beings who fly around in little red capes and don't share their power with mankind.
Ooh, look out, Superman. Shots fired. Turns out Lex Luthor is armed with more than sick burns, though, as the reason he's charted a course to the Arctic is because he knows the location of Superman's Fortress of Solitude. That fire he spoke of, it's the thousands of Kryptonian crystals that old Kal-El decorated the place with. Seriously, this dude's fortress looks like Liberace's chandelier. It's all crystals.
Oh, it is all crystals. Yeah, the fortress is not a very nice place. Like, clearly he doesn't need luxury to be in there. That's not something that
Superman's a minimalist.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the most futuristic of places. Of course, it's powered by these magical crystals from Krypton, right? From his home planet. And we're going to find out that this is why Lex has sort of positioned himself to get this mega yacht, right? He needed to get there and he needed to steal these crystals, hoping that, I don't know, they're going to make him a fortune, I guess, because he's always out to look for power.
Yeah, and he suspects these have some sort of power. We'll figure out exactly what it is later. But meanwhile, back on the farm, Clark Kent is grappling with the reality that his home planet truly was destroyed, and also dealing with some childhood memories of a time when everything was so much simpler. We gather from the way his mom speaks to him that he's been gone a while, and now he's going to have to reacclimatize himself to life on Earth. So we're off to the Daily Planet, where we meet the film's version of Jimmy Olsen, who is annoyingly comics accurate in his gee-whiz awkwardness, Perry White, who is delightfully comics accurate in his gentle curmudgeonness, and Lois Lane, who is inexplicably played by Kate Bosworth. I have no earthly idea why anyone thought she was the right person for this role. What was it about her performance in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton that screamed serious journalist? No, seriously. Is somebody over at Warner Brothers a big Blue Crush fan? Like, how did she get this?
So Clark's back. You don't like the choice of Kate Bosworth.
Did you?
It didn't affect me that much. I didn't. Like, you have really strong opinions about the casting in this.
I do,
and they bothered me less than the plot. Yeah. I think the plot for me was the thing that made me most angry about this. That and the fact that no one recognizes that Clark is Superman and Superman is Clark. Because he just shows back up at his old job. We find out that Lois Lane has, since he's been gone, been very busy.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, it turns out Lois Lane is now a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, having won the award for an article entitled "Why the World Doesn't Need Superman." Now, that's not exactly music to Clark Kent's ears, nor is the fact that Lois is engaged to Perry White's handsome nephew Richard, played, as we mentioned, by James Marsden. She also has a 5-year-old son, but I'm assuming that one's not going to bother Clark as much, at least not as the movie goes along here. Hey, how long has he been away from Earth again? About 5 years?
Oh my God, this was so obviously his child.
No, man, right from the jump.
Oh my God, immediately I was like, oh, fuck.
They try and hide it by giving him, like, various health things.
Yeah, the kid has some lung issues, so you're like, oh, it can't be Superman's kid. But I actually felt like that was more of a tell. I was like, oh, way to go. Thanks, guys.
They're trying to fool us. I know. Fuck, dude. Having returned from the Arctic with a piece of Kryptonian crystal, Lex Luthor strolls back into his dead wife's mansion to carry out an experiment. He's going to see if a tiny fragment of crystal can power the world's biggest model train set. He gets Kumar from Harold and Kumar to saw a piece off and drop it in the replica lake. He's got one of his other goons recording the whole thing, and after a false start where all the power in the mansion turns off, this thing starts bubbling and pulsing and emitting a bright blue light. I just wish it had lit up a big sign saying, "Nerd Alert! Model trains, and I'm supposed to take you seriously as the world's greatest supervillain? Come on."
These aren't his model trains, do you think?
Yes. I don't think his old wife had model trains.
I took this as something that was in the house. I took this as like a... No, you think he
This is a Lex Luthor, I'm going to design a world, little fucking hobby.
And blow it up. Did
Yeah.
you like the practical effects of this model train set exploding and breaking like a classic Hollywood disaster movie?
The way they once would have filmed an actual city.
Exactly.
I wish they'd done that instead for the actual city later.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting seeing Kal Penn here. The poor guy.
He does nothing.
Yeah, no, the poor guy has zero range in this. He is just like head villain technology guy, and that
I think
is
he
it.
also has 0 lines. Does
Yeah,
he
I don't
have
think
any
they let him
lines?
say anything. You're right.
Just a big Superman fan, I guess, wanted to be a part of it. I should note, though, that Lex's assistant Kitty is doing just great stuff all throughout the Luthor scenes here. What a talent Parker Posey is. I'm serious. She's the best part of this movie. Do you not agree?
Oh my goodness. I'm not surprised that you feel that way.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like there's
Parker
something
Posey
to-
not particularly...
No, she's an attractive lady.
Yeah, she's not unattractive. I don't think she's particularly,
You hated Kate Bosworth and loved her. I would have put them equal in their performances in this movie.
Fuck right off.
Yeah.
No chance.
Yeah.
All right.
Like the only one who eats more space than everyone else in this movie is Kevin Spacey by a lot.
Yeah, but he's also playing a megalomaniacal supervillain.
Oh yeah, and he
They don't exactly tend to trend small unless you're fucking Drax from Moonraker.
And he does what he's supposed to in this, right?
Yeah.
Like there are lines from this I think that are like pulled out and used in media. Maybe not anymore, but like
yeah.
they have been.
Yeah. I just think Parker Posey, when they walk in and they were like these 2 little fucking pet dogs, and now there's only one, and she's just like, what weren't there 2 of them? There's like just like a pile of like bones and fur. I don't know. That was entertaining to me. Anyway, this crystal hit in the water causes a massive power outage that fucks up a bunch of shit, including a space shuttle launch that's happening from like on top of an airplane. That's kind of weird. They can't shut the launch off or disconnect it from the plane, so it's sure to kill everyone on board. And you know who's on board? Lois Lane, there to report on the historic launch. And once the thrusters in the shuttle kick in, she gets historically launched herself through the plane's cabin. Kate Bosworth weighs like a $110. There is no way she would have survived this, right?
Oh my God. This starts out with the person who's leading them on this, the person from the company, the airplane. She's not buckled in either. When this thing launches, she would have immediately went blasting through a fucking wall and been gone out of there, right? If you're on an airplane and a rocket that's attached to it takes off, that lady would have been launched. Lois Lane, or Kate Bosworth, decides instead of putting the oxygen mask on and staying buckled, she's going to help this lady. And of course, that goes horribly wrong. She is now free in the cabin. Both of them would have been like ground meat by the end of this. There's no chance either of them would have been like at all alive. And I'm angry. Like, this is not fun to me. This is so fucking stupid. And we know Clark Kent watching this from the bar is not going to allow her to die. We know that he's going to come and show up and save the day here. What a ridiculous way to bring him back, right? Saving Lois Lane and detaching this ridiculous, like, aircraft and space shuttle kind of maneuver thing. I don't know. It was frustrating to me.
Yeah, I agree. But like you said, the surprise of no one, except literally every citizen of Metropolis, I guess, in the world or whatever, Superman flies in and does save the day. First, using his heat vision to separate the shuttle from the plane. I think it was his heat vision anyway. It didn't look hot, but it made a sound effect and cut through the brackets. And then by catching the plane and landing it safely in the middle of a baseball stadium. Well, relatively safely. A bunch of pieces fall off, but he gets everyone across home plate, as it were. He even caps it off with a very Christopher Reeve-esque line after first checking on Lois.
Well, I hope this experience hasn't put any of you off flying. Statistically speaking, it's still the safest way to travel.
And listen, I know they were using heavy CG for this whole sequence, but am I crazy, or does he still look like CG here? Like, his face is like weirdly smooth, and this is where I noticed the eyes. I'm like, is he still like a fucking cartoon?
His face does look too smooth at times. That is true. And so I just thought it was makeup. But
who has skin like that?
Superman.
I guess.
He's an alien. Yeah, the whole thing is pretty ridiculous. They brought him back. Are they trying to be ironic with the Lois Lane, the world doesn't need Superman thing, as he has just saved her life?
Oh, no, this is just to set up tension later.
And
She's a
to be
scorned
like
lover.
a big thing. The dropping it in the MLB stadium was kind of entertaining when the crowd clapped. Like I had
the fly ball up, and the guy looks, and there's a plane coming down.
Yeah, there was a bit of a chuckle there in terms of the setting or location. I thought that was kind of a fun moment, but in general, the Superman saving Lois in the plane here, she even passes out into the safety slide
afterwards
when he takes off. I'm just like, oh, this is just a little bit too much here.
It is. And speaking of too much, later that day at the Daily Planet, Perry White puts literally everyone on the Superman story. Fuck all this shit about the power outage. And we finally get to see an interaction between Clark and Lois. It happens after an interaction between Clark and Lois's son. Sorry, I meant Clark and Lois's son. A little space there so you don't misunderstand me. He's got asthma and a vitamin deficiency. He kind of looks like the type of kid who'd be into model trains. Know what I'm saying?
You think he's related to Lex Luthor, do you?
No. But Lois assures him he's going to grow up to be big and strong, just like his dad. And sweet Christ, they could not make this more obvious if they tried.
Oh, it was so frustrating. I was just like, okay, what is this kid going to be able to do? And when is his superpower going to save the day?
Oh, yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. I'll tell you, I feel bad for James Marsden here. Clark meets him too, and he seems like a totally decent guy. But we know he's destined to get cucked hard by the Man of Steel. More like Man of Steel, ya girl. He knows it too. As we get a scene at their house where Richard basically asks Lois if she's in love with Superman, and she tries to brush it off in a way that's not even a little bit convincing. And also not convincing that the opening of a meteor and gem exhibit at the Metropolis Museum of Natural History would get prominent position in the newspaper that Lex Luthor is reading. But that's where we can safely assume he's heading next. Remember newspapers?
Oh my goodness. You went through a lot there, and we kind of have to move quickly because this is a fairly long movie.
Oh, it's so fucking long.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, longer than it needed to be. What is weird for me here is that Superman goes to Lois Lane's house where Cyclops, James Marsden, and I just call him Cyclops in my notes the whole time, where James Marsden and Lois Lane are at their home with their child, and he X-ray visions through the house so that he can see their conversation and figure out whether she is still in love with him. She says no to Marsden. She says she's not, but we know that that's not true.
Yeah.
And it is hard. It feels bad because, as you said, and we've talked about earlier, he is such a good dude. He is here just to like take care of Lois and this kid, regardless of whether he's the dad. He must know that Superman planted his seed first.
I don't know, man, because the kid calls him dad, and just a rock solid guy, though. I feel bad for him.
So he must have swooped in pretty quickly after Superman left then, if he thinks that it's his kid.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe he's not such a good dude.
I don't know.
Your boyfriend leave? Well, we're a bit overdue for some action here, so it's time for Superman to do his hover above the earth listening for crime trick. He hears some pretty quickly and races down to interrupt a bank robbery that features the biggest gun ever. It's like a Gatling gun on steroids, and it makes absolutely zero sense that the guys who play this would have it with them. The amount of effort required to pack and bring a gun this big is completely not worth it unless you were expecting this robbery to go terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. This gun is absolutely monstrous. It's so big that it needs a gimbal. Like, it has its own massive gimbal.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the thing that counterbalances it, that makes it so that you can move it around. It's what they put with really big cameras for cameramen. It looks like one of those. I actually wondered if this was a part of Lex Luthor's gang. I was thinking that this was a diversion. The only reason I thought this was possible was so that Lex was trying to keep Superman busy, so that he couldn't interfere with his plan to go visit that museam.
Well, we see that later, though. He has a different distraction.
Yeah, but that's actually what
unrelated.
I thought that this was, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
it was just some other super villain kind of crew. I don't know.
They're not super. They just have a big fucking gun, which they set up on a roof so that this one guy can rain bullets down when the cops arrive. A couple of officers still manage to make it inside and up there, where they proceed to shoot this guy like 20 times in his bulletproof vest. Just aim a foot higher, guys. Fuck. Seriously.
They unleashed their full clip, both of them in his back. Neither of them get even anywhere close to hitting him in the head.
No.
And that's bad news for them because he uses that gimbal to spin around this giant gun and trains it on these two employees. He starts to unleash and the bullets start flying out of this thing when we get some bullet time. We get a bit of Matrix style slow-mos here.
Yeah, man. And this is how Superman stops this gun. He drops down in front and just casually walks towards it as hundreds of bullets bounce off him. Dude tries his luck with a big pistol, but Superman just grins and lets his bullet shatter on his invulnerable fake blue eyes. This sequence was just begging everyone to love it, but I found it frustrating, if not infuriating.
It was frustrating. We know that Superman is incredibly strong, basically unkillable other than with kryptonite, right? But I guess they're trying to show how strong he is here. But wow, how angry would you be if you lugged that giant fucking gun up to the roof only for it to do nothing to the man who comes to arrest and stop you?
I'd be so angry. Man, this thing took forever to load. It's so heavy. We dragged it up all those stairs. No.
All this effort. We were robbing this place, and fuck, one alien from another planet who shows up just a day before is going to ruin everything for us. If that happened a week earlier, these guys would be loaded.
Yeah. But like, again, why bring the gun? There's no reason. It's just to set up this fucking action and whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Infuriating, but you know what else is infuriating? Kevin Spacey's wig and southern accent where he and his goons finally do enter the Metropolis Museum of Natural History. Like, I get it. Lex Luthor needs a disguise, but he doesn't look like someone else. He just looks like Kevin Spacey in a wig, which I guess is why he arranged the distraction outside in the street.
You're right. The disguises he puts on are not good. I didn't realize wigs were such a big deal for Lex Luthor.
I've never seen him use one in the comics.
So this is just something they've done for this movie.
Maybe Kevin Spacey just wanted to put on a bunch of wigs.
He thought it would be fun, yeah.
I want to be someone else.
He did after all of that terrible stuff.
Probably wearing a lot of wigs now, fake mustaches.
Yeah, his disguises now are way better than the ones in this movie.
We're trying to avoid controversy.
Yeah,
we're trying to avoid controversy.
All right, after the okay.
So the distraction is that Parker Posey, Kitty's assistant, is driving wildly and recklessly all over the place, nearly killing multiple pedestrians before Superman scoops up her car and gently places it down safely, making sure to do it exactly at the cover of Action Comics #1. She tells him the whole ordeal has strained her heart and asks him to take her to the hospital, which is just a way to buy Lex Luthor Country Edition enough time to complete his museum heist, which ironically, thanks to Superman, will not be on anyone's news radar the next day. Instead, all the world is talking about is Superman's life-saving exploits around the globe. That includes the Daily Planet, where Perry White tells Lois Lane to forget about that blackout from earlier and get back to doing Superman, covering him.
Oh my God, yeah. So we're like an hour into this thing already. This is an hour of time we've spent to get here. We still
light
got
on action.
So much build.
Yeah.
Is it necessary in a Superman movie to spend all of this time building? It felt very unnecessary to me.
I wondered this too, because you're relaunching the franchise, but like, well, it'll come up later. Like, there are parts in here where I'm like, who the fuck does not already know this? Like, we're just retreading stuff. And they do it with Batman all the time too.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, it is too much. We know now that Lex has successfully stolen the green crystal. What could that be?
Well, yeah, we're going to... That comes up for sure. Yeah. But I also did not like that this whole telling Lois to do this story comes after an attempt at cleverness that's so cringy I almost threw my beer at the TV.
These are iconic, and they were taken by a 12-year-old with a camera phone. What do you got, Os?
I got those. Look, in the sky, Chief.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
No, look, it's... You wanted to see me?
Yeah, Ken, come on in. Sit down.
We get it. He's Superman. Fuck.
The most annoying part of this entire movie, absolutely, is the fact that they keep leaning into that and no one knows it. And I know that that is something that happens in Superman, but the fact that they play into it so hard here is a decision that the screenwriters made that made me so fucking frustrated.
No, man, I feel the same way. Perry puts Clark on the blackout story, which doesn't sit well with Lois or James Marsden, but what are you going to do? Well, if you're Kitty, you're going to march right into Lex Luthor's mega yacht and slap the shit out of him. Apparently, her plan was to pretend the brakes were cut in the car, but Lex went ahead and actually cut them, believing that Superman would be able to see through her acting ability. But it was all worth it, see, because he managed to get the very special rock he went there for, which, of course, is kryptonite, as you said. I'm sure we all expected that. But what I didn't expect was them having Lois Lane remind us that kryptonite is Superman's only weakness in our next scene back at the Daily Planet. And I say again, who on earth is watching this that doesn't know what kryptonite is? Come on, screenwriters. Fuck.
They have really made this for a generation of people who have no Superman knowledge. Like, you've never seen a show, you've never seen a movie, you've never read a
the
comic,
books, yeah.
Nothing. Like, the fact that they made that decision when this is supposed to follow up from the other ones, when this seems to be him returning and we should have some knowledge of the other stuff, just seems like a spit in the face kind of thing, right? Like, this is where they're treating us as really, really dumb. And most of the time that's necessary with you and I, but not not here.
That's always a pet peeve. We always like that. Also, just the runtime. Just get to it. We don't need 2 hours and fucking 39 minutes. Like, come on.
It's too long.
It is. Now, I said that kryptonite was Superman's only weakness a second ago. Turns out that's not true. He's also incredibly vulnerable to Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists with bad dye jobs, which we see in our next scene. After seeing Lois head for the roof to have a cigarette, Clark Kent switches to his Superman persona and flies up there to confront her about her Why the World Doesn't Need Superman article. He's pretty butthurt about it and asks her how she could say those things. She throws it back in his face, asking him how he could leave the people of Earth behind for half a decade. But before you know it, the two of them are standing in the sky like lovers do. It sure seems they're going to kiss here, but Superman is too good a guy for that. So instead, he just dance flies her home. Seriously, they're in like a waltz position as they skim across the Metropolis Bay. Is this Bryan Singer's idea of romance? Actually, wait, don't answer that. I forgot. We're trying to avoid controversy, I guess, after the last episode.
Oh my goodness. I don't know the Bryan Singer controversy, but maybe we should not bring that one up.
I mean, if you Google Bryan Singer allegations,
it's bad times.
You'll find it pretty
Oh
quickly.
gosh, okay. It was weird to me that he was taking her to her house. I would have found it
James
weird.
Marsden's there just like, what the fuck?
I would have found it weird as her too that he knew where she lived. She didn't tell him where they were going. He just showed up at her house.
Yeah.
She left her shoes on the roof of the Daily Planet building too. She's like, oh, I guess I'll get those.
No, you're right. No, you made a good point earlier because he does a lot of hovering outside her house.
It's creepy as shit.
He's a fucking creep.
He really creeps her a lot in this movie, and it's weird. And it also made me ask the question about X-ray vision.
Does he use it for?
Yeah, because and we find out later that he can use it to look internally at people's organs. He checks to make sure she's okay after a bit of a fall. But is he using it to remove clothing? I don't know.
Maybe the internal stuff's what turns him on. Maybe he's like, ooh,
those are some great organs.
Look at that rib cage.
Oh my God.
Well, either way, Lois has her story, although not the one she wants. But it is enough to get Perry White off her back while she chases down leads in the blackout. But while she's busy reporting it up, she forgets to pick her son up from school. She grabs him, but then decides to save time by bringing him along to the private residence that the Department of Public Works says was first hit by the blackout, which turns out to be a huge mistake as, upon sneaking onto a familiar mega yacht, familiar to us anyway, hearing the sound of classical opera and discovering a room full of wigs, Lois realizes all too late whose place she's walked into. The boat has left the dock and her suspicions are confirmed when she rounds a corner and discovers...
Lex Luthor.
Lois Lane?
Get bald.
Is this Bryan Singer's idea of comedy? That one you can answer.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, kids are honest, and it's funny when he calls him out here. Not a great move by Lois Lane here. She's being a bit of a delinquent mother, picking up her child late and then endangering him by taking him to this mega yacht. She went here because this home was the source of the EMP that knocked everything out, right? But
well, she doesn't know it's the source. They tell her that was the first. It's a whole grid, I guess. The house is so big that it is its own spot in the grid, and that was the spot that first blacked out.
Right? Yes. And so that's why she went. The fact that she just wanders onto the yacht, though, the kid even asks her if this is trespassing, and she says, yes, son. Yeah. And so obviously he knows his mother pretty well. Now we're going to get a bit of a hostage situation as she's here. We're also just getting the broodiest, most annoying Superman time. The guy is so focused on like the fact that Lois has moved on while he was away that he is not at all acting rationally or trying to figure out what the problem is here. I think he even knows that it's his fault that Lex Luthor is out of prison and he's not trying to find him or stop him. Wouldn't he assume that he's the one behind most of the problems that are happening right now?
Well, yeah, but also, is the mega yacht lined with lead? Why can't he just hear him?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think maybe there's just so much noise everywhere that he's not able to tune that one in. But you're right. He should have heard
He says he hears everything. When he's got her up in the sky, he says, I hear everything.
But he didn't say that he hears each thing like distinctly and clearly. He gets all sound at once. So he kind of has to like tune in on the sound that are, I don't know. I'm giving way too much credit.
You're a Superman apologist.
A little bit right now. Not really, no, because I think Superman's being a bitch here.
Yeah.
he is so worried about Lois Lane that he hasn't even been back to his like home of solitude.
Oh yeah, how's Martha doing back on the farm?
Yeah, it doesn't even know.
She good? She's all by herself.
Yeah.
Jonathan's dead.
Yeah, actually that's true. We kind of gloss over that. Does he die while he's away or did he die before he went on the trip?
Seems like while he was away.
I think. Like we don't get any of that. Like we don't even see if he's sad. Like that guy was his dad, man.
I know. But the comedy here is not great. And we get more witty dialogue in our next scene as Lois and Les go back and forth. This actually was pretty enjoyable. Maybe my favorite scene in the whole movie, actually. Before Luthor offers to give her an interview after declining her request to turn the boat around and let her son off. This interview is more like a TED Talk about Kryptonian crystals and the value of land. Luthor's plan is to build a new continent in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean because, and I quote, land is the one thing they're not making any more of. But he's going to. Of course, creating this new landmass is going to cause half of the United States to be submerged underwater. So, I don't know. It's kind of a lateral move, isn't it?
Well, and the land that he creates is that terrible, like, shard, pillory, no plant fucking land. Who wants to live on a continent full of just giant like shards of rock and crystal?
Lex Luthor also a minimalist, it turns out.
Yeah,
I guess.
Like the hair on his head. He hates to have plant life around. I don't know.
What? He's wearing all those wigs.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, back at the Daily Planet, James Marsden is freaking out, wondering where his fiance and son are. So he attempts to hack into her computer to find some clues. More comedy ensues, as not only does her password screen feature a gif of Kate Bosworth that wags her finger when he guesses wrong, but the password is Superman, which Clark suggests after Marsden incorrectly tries his own name and the name of their son. And by their son, I mean Lois and Superman's, as we finally get the totally unexpected reveal back on the yacht when one of Luthor's goons threatens her life and Jason throws a grand piano at him. Not bad for a kid with asthma, huh?
Yeah, we have some time where the villain, one of Lex's goons, is playing the piano with her son, but we have some tense moments as Lois tries to fax over the details of where they are
the
and that she's in trouble.
Yeah,
she sends off the latitude and longitude to the Daily Planet, but of course she gets caught in the act. The goon is beating the shit out of her, pretty rough, and the kid is getting increasingly stressed out until he, like you said, chucks that piano and crushes the shit out of that goon. So now we know for sure, because we didn't know before.
Oh, of course not.
Superman's kid. Unfortunately for Lois and the kid, the throwing of the piano and killing of the goon attracts some more goons. And they decide, seeing their friend crushed by a piano, that it's time to lock these two inside of the kitchen of the
pantry. I think
the pantry area of the ship. So they get locked in there, and Lex Luthor and the rest of his crew are about to leave this ship behind. They've launched off a kryptonite-laced crystal into the sea, and we're starting to get the plan taking action. We're starting to see some growth from the ocean here. That continent he wanted is starting to appear.
Oh yeah, man. His plan is in full effect. As you mentioned, he's launched his Kryptonian crystal land bomb into the ocean. But yes, the news of this kid activating his superpowers is a sign that maybe things are about to take a turn. And add that to the fact that Lois's fax with the ship's coordinates came through to the Daily Planet, and you know Superman's on his way. The genius of this plan, though, is it's going to force the Man of Steel to choose between saving the city of Metropolis or saving the woman he loves. And although he pauses for a second to look towards Lois's location, we know he's going to head back to the city to save millions of lives. So buckle up, everyone. It's time for the obligatory 10-minute CG action sequence. No, it was only 4 minutes, but it felt like 20.
Yeah, we get a long sequence here of Superman flying back. He heads from the source of this problem, the crystal, the island that's creating, and follows a crack that starts inside the ocean and travels towards Metropolis. It creates an earthquake, and we get all kinds of shots of glass breaking and buildings rumbling. And of course, when that happens, we have all kinds of people in danger. He saves people who fall from buildings. He catches all kinds of things that are going to crush people, including the Daily Planet globe as it falls off that building. It's about to crush the editor-in-chief. We get a picturesque moment of him holding and putting it down as the photographer, the one who is kind of a joke. Jimmy Olsen is there to take those pictures and save the day. He should, of course, recognize that it is Clark Kent, his friend, who has now disappeared and never around when any of this happened. The interesting thing here is, guess who is the one who is still heading to save Lois Lane?
Well, that's it, man. Believe it or not, it is not Superman who rescues Lois Lane and little Jason from Luthor's mega yacht. It's James Marsden, who opens the door to the locked pantry after traveling there in the Daily Planet seaplane.
How did you get here?
I flew.
His hero moment is short-lived, though, as the rapidly expanding Kryptonian crystals smash through the yacht, temporarily suspending it hundreds of feet in the air before it splits in half, crashing back down into the ocean with an impact that absolutely would have killed anyone on board who doesn't have Kryptonian DNA. But it doesn't, and even when the room they're in starts filling up with water, we know that it's only a matter of time before Superman shows up to rip the thing open like a can of sardines. He actually goes one better, though, lifting the whole half a yacht out of the water while the John Williams theme triumphantly plays. You ever see one of those clips online where street ball legends try to play against NBA players and make a couple of shots before just getting their asses handed to them? That's how this felt from a hero perspective. Like Marston gets his moment,
Yeah.
and it looks like maybe he's gonna. And then Superman just comes in and fucking
I mean, when you lift an entire half of a mega yacht out of the water, I was wondering why you didn't just open the door and yank them out of there. But I guess
doesn't look as cool.
it's way cooler when they're grasping forearm to forearm. Marston is holding onto Superman's arm as Superman has his arm. Both the kid and Lois Lane are in his arms. Lois is passed out because she's eaten the door in the head. So
Well, she also swallowed a bunch of water, didn't she?
yeah, so she's struggling, but somehow Marston is able to hold on to both Lois and the kid as Superman drops the yacht, and we have this dramatic scene of it falling and crashing down as they're hanging in the air. Of course, he brings them down safely to the plane, but it's too dangerous right now to take off in this plane, so Superman's going to pick it up and give them a little boost on its way before he goes back to battle Lex on this new island.
Well, that's the thing. With Lois's family safely out of danger, it is time to find the person responsible for all this, and Superman knows exactly who it is. He flies to the center of the emerging landmass, where he's greeted by the booming voice of Kevin Spacey. Luthor welcomes Superman to his new metropolis, and after the Man of Steel brushes it off as an old man's sick joke, takes a shot at his Kryptonian heritage.
But maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little cold. It's, what's the word I'm searching for? It's a little alien. It lacks that human touch.
Hitting him where it hurts, right in the DNA.
I actually was just frustrated at this point that I wasn't even following the diatribe or the dialogue here as Lex Luthor was going off on Superman. What's curious to me is I'm wondering where the effects of this kryptonite are going to kick in when they're battling. We know that he's used it to help build this island, but Superman seems to be there and okay until he isn't.
Oh, yeah, it's going to kick in right now, man. I mentioned hitting him where it hurts. Well, it turns out that's pretty much everywhere on Superman's body right now, as unbeknownst to him, he has landed on a giant pile of kryptonite. So he is significantly weakened, and Lex Luthor and his goons start kicking the ever-loving shit out of him. Superman is literally powerless here, and after pitifully crawling through the mud, he gets shanked with a jagged shard of kryptonite and tossed off a cliff. At this moment, sinking to the bottom of the ocean with his father's words ringing in his ears, the Man of Steel must assume that this is the end. But what he doesn't know is that the real hero of this movie is about to appear to save him. So I'll throw it to you, Noel. Is the real hero handsome James Marsden, who selflessly pilots a seaplane back into certain danger to save the man his fiancé is in love with? Or little Jason, who's able to spot Superman from miles away through terrible weather thanks to his own super eyesight? Or is it Lois Lane, the 110-pound woman who dives into the turgid waters of the Atlantic and drags a 225-pound alien back to the surface before pulling a shard of kryptonite out of his torso with her bare hands? And also, what in the actual fuck? How did she get him out of that fucking water?
This whole thing is unbelievable, right? The entire section where Superman is getting his ass kicked, Lex Luthor punches him once and he goes flying 10 feet back and crashes through a bunch of shit before he has a 7-minute piece of this movie where he's stumbling through puddles and getting kicked and beaten by all of the goons. He doesn't even get thrown off the cliff. He kind of just falls off it before he starts sinking down under the water. And like you said, it's unbelievable. The kid spots him. They're able to land the plane, and that Lois Lane is the one who dives in, yanks him out, and yanks that kryptonite from him. Clearly, the hero of this movie is James Marsden.
That's, you know what? I don't disagree with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The man is willing to do what most men would not. He does whatever he can for Lois, and if Lois wants to move on with an alien from another world who has inseminated her, then good for her, I guess. Like, that is something that most of us couldn't do.
If you love something, set it free.
Yeah, this is the bird theory here, yeah.
Like I did in our beer draft.
All of the beers that you drank
all
that
of the
day,
beers
you
that
set them all
I set
free.
them all free. That's right.
You know what else is also unbelievable? The fact that after the shard of kryptonite comes out of Superman, he's better in like 7 seconds. This movie is taking forever, but the amount it takes him to heal up here and be ready to go get it again is just fucking silly.
I agree, especially because we find out later he still has some of it inside him. She didn't get it all, but he's fine. No,
he's fine. He's
he
back.
is
He's
healed.
fine. You know what?
He's rejuvenated.
He's going back. What the hell? That island just kicked your ass and you're heading back?
Oh, he's fucking pissed, dude. He's got the awesome power of rage now, and also the awesome power of the sun. He takes a moment to harness some of that before parting the clouds and shooting out of the sky like a missile, rocketing down into the ocean with heat vision blaring before smashing into the Earth's crust in order to completely destabilize Luthor Island, or whatever the fuck he was going to call it. That is bad news for Lex Luthor's goons, who all eat shit when a giant piece of rock crushes them. But there's even worse news for Luthor himself, as Kitty, who has been growing increasingly uncomfortable with the idea of millions, if not billions, of people losing their lives, drops the last of Lex's Kryptonian crystals out of their helicopter as it takes off. So maybe she's the real hero of this movie. Although, it'll be hard to make that case in a second when CG Superman picks up the whole kryptonite-infested landmass and launches it into space. The sacrifice, Noel, the bravery, the clearly fake-looking effects. How about it?
Oh my goodness. This was frustrating.
Do you think so, Doctor? Yeah, a little bit.
I understand being able to go under the island and use your laser eyes to cut it free of the ocean.
When you're not touching it.
When you're not touching it.
Picking it all up. You can see the kryptonite like beside his arms. And
well,
he's just
and
like,
the whole time that he is lifting this island, more shards of kryptonite seem to be coming from it and injuring
it's like
him.
Pulsing and this is literally growing out of the island.
And to build tension, they make it so he gets it just to the point of nanogravity. He's just able to get it into space and push it off where it's not going to fall back to Earth. And then he himself becomes that meteor.
Yeah, man, having exhausted all of his energy while simultaneously having his life force drained by the kryptonite, Superman begins falling back to Earth, slowly at first in kind of a Jesus pose, and then faster, like a blue ball of fire passing through the atmosphere and eventually crashing to the ground below. So we're off to the hospital, where a team of doctors who are in no way, shape, or form qualified to save him do their best to bring the Man of Steel back to life. They managed to pull out a tiny bit of kryptonite that was still lodged in his back, but attempting to resuscitate him with a defibrillator only fries their system. And as his vital signs flatline, we're forced to contemplate a world that is truly without a Superman. And I'll be honest, at this point, I'm for it. Let's wrap this up and go
You're
home.
done. I had to question why when he got the rock to space, when he launched it off, why wasn't the sun starting to then re-energize him again?
Oh, it makes no sense. Yeah, you're right. It should have immediately. He lets go of it. The sun should be. The sun's right there. He should gain strength as he. Yeah,
that was the thing that bothered me there. This whole dramatic, is he dead or not? We even get a cut to the paper. You made a joke earlier about papers.
Superman dead, the headline reads, but it's not. It's just in case.
Yeah, because right next to it is Superman lives.
Yeah,
but they definitely do trick us there in that moment of. We knew that it wasn't happening. Although Superman does die in the comics. So
he does.
There's a moment
where
I was
what the headline is from.
Did they make this choice, right? Did they make it? But of course they don't.
They don't. No, it turns out he's not really dead. Just in critical condition. The next day, Lois Lane decides to brave the throng of police, paparazzi, and well-wishing citizens gathered outside the hospital in order to visit Superman and say the words she was too afraid to say out loud when he was standing in the sky with her earlier. She's still too afraid to say them out loud, at least in front of her son and us, the viewing audience. But we can infer that it's something along the lines of, I still love you, I'll always love you, and Jason is actually your son. She gives him a kiss before leaving the room, and I was fully expecting him to wake up right there. You know, so many times in sci-fi movies, the key to solving whatever problem is happening is fucking love. It happened in The Matrix, it happened in Crawl, what else? Interstellar?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does, but it's not immediate, which I actually think is good. What's not good is this whole relationship bullshit. It's taking away from all the Superman fun.
It's been the whole movie.
Which makes this whole movie feel shit, right? This to me is the biggest problem with this whole thing is everyone not knowing he's Superman and this Lois Lane relationship with Superman thing is killing me. And I know they have a relationship.
It's killing me.
It's killing me.
Yeah.
It's taking away all the fun of a Superman movie. I just want him using his cool powers, stopping Lex Luthor and all the bad guys from damaging the world. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that question, I'll be honest with you. But after a brief scene with Lex Luthor and Kitty, who, thanks to their helicopter running out of gas, are now trapped in a desert island where they'll be forced to subsist on coconuts and dog meat, we return to the hospital to discover that Superman's body is gone. We quickly learn that he has woken up from his coma state, possibly because of the love, we'll never know for sure, and having either heard what Lois said at his bedside or just spotting the obvious plot point as soon as that kid walked in the room, decides to pay a visit to young Jason's bedroom. Hovering above the child's bed, Superman speaks the same words that his father once said to him.
Sometimes you feel like an outcast, but you'll never be alone. You will see my life through your eyes as your life will be seen through mine. The son becomes the father, and the father becomes the son.
And I had this thought back when Marlon Brando's Jor-El first said it. That all makes sense up until the father becomes the son part. Seriously, the fuck does that mean?
I don't understand.
I don't know. Yeah. I had it up until then. I'm like, no, that part doesn't make sense.
That part's weird.
They're trying to turn a phrase, I think.
I think so. I think you're right. I mean, maybe they're saying the father learns from the son in some way, or the father becomes a part of the son.
The teacher becomes the student kind of deal.
And, well, it like didn't
or do they mean literally the
son, right?
Yeah,
like
the father dies and his life energy
becomes a part of the son. Yes,
something.
I think so because
will Superman ever die?
If there are no sons.
If this movie didn't kill him, I don't know if anything's going to.
I mean, I'm surprised it didn't kill the Superman franchise.
Can't keep a franchise down these days. Come on, no.
That's true.
But that's about it, man. After hovering above his son, Superman catches Lois smoking outside in her front lawn, where she asks if they'll see him around. He tells her he's always around, then flies off into the night sky, where he enters the atmosphere and transforms into a plasticky cartoon man. Seriously, this was the most glaringly obvious CG in the whole movie. Why would you end like this? Dude looks 0% real.
That probably made you really angry.
Oh, it made me so fucking angry. Yeah.
It's not a great way to end this thing.
No.
Right? It would have been funny if he just walked away, or you just have even the little like.
Okay, first of all, Superman doesn't walk anywhere.
I
He walked away.
I know, but you just have the little zip of him go into the sky, right? You just have him disappear.
He
that
become
would
like
have
that
fine.
speck of light as he goes past the horizon.
That would have been great.
Well, we've made it through this fucking 2 hour and 40-minute fucking slog. So why don't we go to our ratings right now? The way we always do this, rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10 2 times. 1 to 10 for how bad it is, 1 to 10 for how enjoyable. And the goal is to find movies that are 10 and 10 on both scales, or what we call the Crit 20. I don't know, man. The acting was a real mixed bag here. Kevin Spacey was good. Like, say what you will about the man, but he's clearly a talented actor. That's about all I'm willing to say about him at this point.
Yeah.
Parker Posey was great, in my opinion. But Brandon Routh and Kate Bosworth were trash. She is completely out of her depth here, and calling him wooden is an insult to wood. I did not love the script. I'm sure you'll talk more about that, especially the fact that nobody other than James Marsden for like a second even consider the fact that Clark Kent and Superman returning at the exact same time after a 5-year hiatus is like a bit suspicious. Throw in the very obvious twist with the son being his and some of the attempts at jokes, and yeah, not a fan of this one. But my biggest complaint by far is that this thing is way too fucking long. Like, I get that every superhero movie has to be at least 2.5 hours, but most of them at least have a bunch of action sequences. This one probably had like 15 minutes of what could be reasonably called action, and not good action at that. So I feel like in almost every way, you have failed just like a general movie-going audience. Going over the fucking all the Superman origin shit again is like annoying to people like us who are already familiar with the story. So yeah, like pretty bad, but the production value is high. Producer John's gonna fucking shout at me for that.
Yeah, he is.
Spacey and Parker Posey are good. I had it as an 8. I'll stay with an 8 for now because like there were some entertaining parts, but I don't know, man. I will not be watching this again. What did you think?
This fucking sucked. It was the pace. The pace was so slow. The retread over everything we know about Superman, yet being confusing because it felt like there should have been another one of these before, even though I guess you're right, there's a connection to the first 4.
Yeah.
So the length of this was terrible. The pace of it was bad. The Superman-Lois relationship and the obviousness of it being their kid was infuriating. So I really disliked the plot and writing here. I thought the confusion over them not understanding it was Clark Kent was massive. Like you said, there was very little action, way too much build in relationship. So I had this as an 8 bad as well.
We're the same fucking rating. How enjoyable did you find this on a scale of 1 to 10 though?
So I didn't hate the acting choices as much as you. I thought like the performances were reasonable in this. There was nothing that stood out to me.
I disagree for Lois and Superman. The two most important fucking parts, I disagree. That's fine.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that. And I thought the James Marsden, I liked that he was the hero. Yeah, what a good dude, right? Like if you're looking for a character to connect to, I was like, James Marsden, way to go, buddy. But it wasn't like I will never watch this again. Yeah. I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yep.
And appreciate the recommendation. But I had this as a 6 enjoy. 6 enjoy.
Okay, so I am a little bit lower than you. I had it as a 5.
Okay.
I enjoyed some parts. I fucking hated some parts. But on the whole, I kind of was just like, eh. I didn't really, I'm glad we were able to watch it for cinematic time with Jason, and I appreciate the request. This is a movie that definitely belongs on our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was such a big budget, supposed to be a big deal, and just fucking torpedoed the franchise again for however many years. But yeah, the actual experience of watching it kind of just like went by. Like I was watching the clock.
Do you think they could have
fucking long
edited this into an hour and a half? Like take this movie, all the shots in it, and made it an hour and a half, and it probably would have been more enjoyable. Like it probably would have hit our enjoyability rating by like +2.
Yeah, you packed those action sequences closer together.
Just a lot less pining between Lois and Clark.
You would not be stalking her so much. That would be nice.
Yeah.
No, I hated the fucking Bosworth Routh acting, but I loved the spacey posy acting, so it kind of balanced out there. I'm kind of neutral. I'm a 5. I'm right there in the middle.
You like the villain, shocking.
There were a couple of good scenes. There were some fucking terrible scenes. There were much I didn't give a fuck about. They're like, honestly, there were just like scenes where I'm like,
I think that's the biggest problem is the don't give
it.
a fuck scenes. There is just way too much of them.
So like there are better. I would rather watch any other Superman movie than this one. But yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about it. Always nice to do an audience request. I hope that Jason from Cinematic Time with Jason enjoyed our take on it. And yeah, man, no regrets. How'd you feel about this beer?
I think no regrets is a good way to state it. It
Very
was
malty.
It was malt forward for sure. Lots of caramel notes, but not hard to drink. At 7%, I was a little worried.
Oh, it's smooth, like they said. It's a smooth lager.
It was really smooth. I could see the kryptonite of this being that you could drink a lot of these and end up in
like
a situation.
Me in the beer draft?
Yeah. Very quickly. You could take down 5 or 6 of these and find yourself in trouble. And I think that that's why this is a kryptonite of a lager. Not because it has the like kick you in the face forward taste that some of the Flying Monkeys, it doesn't.
Unless you don't like malt. Because again, it is very malt forward. I actually wondered if you were going to like it or not because of the maltiness. I enjoy a malty beverage.
I would say I enjoy a malty beverage when it's what I'm expecting. This is about expectations, right? I knew I was getting a lager here, and it was a very tasty and easy to drink lager. If this was described as a pale ale, or particularly a hazy pale ale, and then I got a ton of malt, I would have been pissed, right?
Which has happened before. That's happened to us before.
It has
There was a
happened
pale
before.
ale that you were unhappy with.
But when we're getting a style that is supposed to be malt forward and it delivers on that and is easy to drink, I was really happy. So I would drink this again, and you know what? It kind of makes me want to go back and grab some other Flying Monkeys. There's been times in my life where I've been hesitant because the flavors are so forward, but here it makes me say, Flying Monkey, great job. I'm willing to try some more stuff.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This is by far my favorite Flying Monkeys beer ever. Like without a doubt. Well, because again, a lot of their stuff's very experimental.
I still prefer a juicy ass in my mouth,
but that's an IPA.
Yeah.
And for me, like this is a traditional style, a little bit stronger, hence the more malt, as we always find like the higher ABV and like a strong lager, the more malty taste you tend to get, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I think you're right. You need more grains to be able to get more alcohol sugars, right? So they're going to end up having a maltier flavor, I don't
know if they do this all the time, if there's like a limited release, but I'll look for this again. I'd have this again.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right.
Good stuff, Flying Monkey.
There you go. Good stuff. And speaking of good stuff, 2 weeks from today, we're going to be doing a little Valentine's Day episode, which we haven't done since we did The Bitch a couple years ago. That was an audience request, and we had a great time with it.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
And I think we are going to have a fucking great time 2 weeks from today because we are going to be watching a movie that I didn't even know existed until it came out recently. Vinegar Syndrome released it. It's a Troma release. Makers of Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki Man, some of our fucking favorites.
Oh my gosh, really?
And very appropriate for Valentine's Day. It's their take on perhaps the greatest love story ever told. We're going to be watching Tromeo and Juliet.
Is it like a monster and a woman? Like, what is Tromeo?
I'm not clear on that.
Oh, we're going to find out when we get there.
I know nothing about this other than it is a take on the Romeo and Juliet story made by Troma. And I believe that Lemmy from Motorhead is like the narrator or the Greek chorus, whatever you call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I mean, every Troma movie we've watched has featured just some fucking insane shit. Low budget practical effects, gore, nonsense. So I am very optimistic about this.
Yeah, Sergeant Kabuki Man was the last one we visited with our friend Mike.
One of our most popular episodes.
Really?
I think it's one of our like 20 most ever listened to, maybe top 25, but it's up there, which surprised me because like not a lot of people know about it. And you could take many parts of it as being wildly offensive.
Yeah, but really, really fun. Looking forward to revisiting Troma.
Oh, fuck yeah. So 2 weeks from today, that'll be 2 weeks from today, Tromeo and Juliet. Should be a weird fucking fun time. If you haven't seen it, go find it, watch it, and hear us talk about it in 2 weeks. We want to thank Cinematic Time with Jason for the request today. Appreciate you and appreciate everyone who sent requests in. We got some more coming up soon. But before our next episode, if you haven't already, please follow us on social media at the BMB Podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. If you want to send us any requests like Jason, the BMB Podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, or slide into the DMs of our social media. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us today for Superman Returns. We hope to see you back here in 2 weeks' time for Tromeo and Juliet. Until then, I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And we'll see you next time on Bad Movies and Beer.
Keep that kryptonite crystal out of the ocean.
Look, up in the sky.